everyone. Welcome to XSTEM All Access. I'm Kate Gunderson, and I'm excited to be part of this virtual XSTEM series showcasing some of the coolest minds in STEM. Have you wondered what it's like to work in a STEM field like aerospace, environmental science, engineering, or physics? Are you curious about careers in STEM but unsure what specific jobs are out there? Or maybe you have no idea what career direction you'll pursue and you're looking for a little inspiration. If you fall into any of these categories, or even if you're just here for fun, today you'll get insight to these questions and more. As your guest host for this episode, I cannot wait to ask an inspiring role model in aviation all of the questions you'd like to know about their job, like what inspires them, how they found their path, and where their industry is headed. Make sure you subscribe in the YouTube description below and follow us on social media to get XSTEM updates. New episodes will be released all year and you won't want to miss a single one. Scan this QR code to access resources from today's program, including NGSS-aligned lesson plans and worksheets, along with other free STEM resources from today's speakers, our partners, and more. With your parents' permission, tell us how you were inspired today by tagging us at USA Science Fest, #XSTEM, and me at ThePlainKate. This free STEM program is brought to you by the USA Science and Engineering Festival. The mission of the USA Science and Engineering Festival is to inspire the next generation about careers in STEM. You can check out their other free programs and events for teachers and students at usasciencefestival.org. Before we begin, please join me in thanking our partners, the U.S. Air Force, the U.S. Space Force, and the Discovery Channel for making this XSTEM series possible. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. My love for aviation and space began as a little girl growing up in North Dakota. I used to stand in the driveway with my dad, looking up at the dark night sky and dream about being part of humankind's journey to discovery. Well, all of this dreaming led me to a career as an engineer who worked and flew aboard some pretty neat aircraft at NASA. After several internships and then finally working at my dream job at NASA for several years, I was seeking a new challenge. I ended up applying to and receiving a full fellowship to attend test pilot school, which is where I am right now. My career so far has been a testament to the importance of following your dreams and doing the things that you are most passionate about. I hope you're as excited as I am to get started because today we are going to hear from another passionate aviator, helicopter pilot Esther Beckett. Esther is originally from France and currently works as an instructor pilot for Airbus Helicopters North America. In her role, Esther teaches others how to pilot Airbus helicopters both in live aircraft and using simulators. In her decade as a pilot, Esther has also flown tours across the Grand Canyon and taught flight instruction in Florida. In addition to her flight certification, Esther holds a master's degree in humanities and social sciences in a foreign language. To top it off, she's fluent in 3 languages, English, Italian, and French. I'm excited to learn about Esther's career, experiences, and what it's like to work for Airbus, a pioneer in the aerospace industry. Have you ever imagined what it would be like to have a career where you literally soar to new heights? Well, let's find out. Please join me in welcoming Esther Beckett. Esther, let's jump right into our questions because I know the audience is excited to hear from you. What inspired you to enter the world of aviation and become a helicopter pilot? Did your family background, your upbringing, or childhood experiences influence you? Did you have any role models that steered you in a specific direction or something else?
Thank you, Kate. I'm really excited to be here for this project. We're here in Grand Prairie, Texas, where I work as an instructor pilot for Airbus. And this is the helicopter division, the training center. It's going to be about 108 degrees today, so I'm going to be drinking lots of water through this interview. Behind me, you see the H-125. It's one of the helicopters that we fly here and that I fly with my students. And to answer your question about how I became a helicopter pilot, it actually didn't come early on in my career. I had another career before I became a pilot. I was never exposed to helicopters in my childhood. I'm the first pilot in my family. But I read about aviation in books, and that sparked my interest already back then. And then later on, I was about 24 years old. I was a translator and flying on board of a helicopter. And once I saw the helicopter and what it can do, I decided, yes, this is what I want to do. I want to change my career. Thankfully, my previous career and my studies really prepared me for the job I currently have. So I can see now how much it helped to go through my previous career, and I really don't regret doing both. But this is how I became a pilot.
That is such a great message because I know so many students are unsure of what career path to follow. To high school or college students in the audience, or even career professionals, do not be afraid to change course at any point in your career. It truly is never too late to make your dreams come true. Keep your eyes open because you never know what new opportunities will come your way. Esther, tell us a little bit about your role at Airbus and the innovative technologies that you encounter as part of your job.
All right, so at Airbus, I'm an instructor pilot, and that's a really good question about new technologies. I actually just talked about it with my student this week, how fast-paced technology is nowadays, and the new generation really has to adapt pretty quickly to the new technologies that are being introduced. In the past, helicopter pilots were hired to fly because they are the only ones that can fly the machine. But now we have autopilots, it's improving safety. But now as a pilot, I need to take into account the new technology. And really what matters more and more is the decisions that the pilot is taking in the cockpit. So really what makes you a captain on board. So I think that's a new challenge for the new generation that keeps it very interesting, right? My job is really evolving as the days are going, and that's really exciting for me to be part of developing new machines and adapting to new technologies.
I totally agree with that. As pilots and other aviation professionals, we are constantly exposed to new technologies, and it does keep our job new and interesting all the time. There's never a dull moment in the world of aviation technology, and I can certainly attest to that as well. As a fellow female aircrew member, this next question is near and dear to my heart. Although the number of female pilots has increased over the last few decades, the percentage remains low, with less than 10% of all FAA certified pilots being women. And this number is even smaller for helicopter pilots. So what advice do you have for girls interested in entering the field of aviation, but who might be intimidated to do so?
It's true that there's really not that many female helicopter pilots. We are a minority, but instead of seeing that as an obstacle, you can also choose to use it as an opportunity, to think outside the box and don't limit yourself. Also, another advice that I could give you based on my experience is don't forget those dreams that you had early on. Maybe what you are doing right now does not match exactly those dreams, but I can tell you that a lot of things I've done led me to where I am today, and circle back to that dream I had as a little girl to be in aviation. And so that would be my advice for you, is to remember those dreams and also try to identify those opportunities and those people that will have good advice for you, that will push you to be better and to lead you in that direction, because we all have different dreams, and what makes you happy is not going to make someone else happy necessarily. So identify those opportunities and those people that will lead you in that direction.
Definitely an opportunity instead of an obstacle. I love that. And yes, never lose sight of those dreams. It's a reoccurring theme for sure. Esther, what other types of STEM professionals do you interact with or work alongside as part of your job? I know as an aviation professional myself, I've worked with a wide variety of people, so I'd be curious to see how that relates to your experience.
Yeah, there's actually so many different careers and jobs that are involved in making a helicopter, for example. So the engineers make the drawings, there's a production line where they build the helicopter, there's the mechanics, and I work with the mechanics on a daily basis because we both prepare the helicopter for flying. I also work with the technicians in the simulator. Over there, there's the HeliSim building where we have simulators. So there's a long list of people, a big group of people. They all work together, and there's different stages like that of developing the helicopter. And then I come in towards the end of that process to fly with the students and the people that are going to really operationally use that helicopter to train them for their missions.
It's definitely true that you don't have to be a pilot to have an exciting career in aviation. It's definitely a team sport where everyone works together, so that's great. What does a typical workday look like for you at Airbus?
That's a very good question. My workday can be actually very different from one day to the other. One day I could be flying with a student, or I could be in the classroom teaching about the theory, or in the simulator, sometimes in the United States, sometimes abroad. So it's very, very diverse, and that's also something I really like about my job, is the diversity of it. I keep learning, and if you're going to be a pilot, you're going to have to keep learning. But also within the industry, you might think that a helicopter pilot does the same thing, all of us, but it's not the case. Some pilots are doing firefighting missions, some pilots are flying offshore, or they're flying passengers in the Grand Canyon, which is actually something I used to do as well. So there's so many missions, or medevac missions that you can do, rescuing people, search and rescue, police missions. Such a wide diversity of things that we can do with a helicopter that makes our day-to-day life really different from one to the other, actually, in this industry.
How exciting. There are definitely so many different opportunities for helicopter pilots. It's so great. Thank you for sharing that experience with us. And tell us something about your job or about you that might surprise people.
Maybe you don't know, but our helicopters at Airbus have animal nicknames. There's the Puma, it's actually a very big helicopter, the Dolphin, the Llama, and the one behind us, the nickname is the Squirrel, which in French is Écureuil. This helicopter is built in France. I happen to be also from France, and my nickname as a child was also Écureuil.
Okay, that is so cool. The person naming the helicopter has a really fun job. Maybe someday I'll even have an aircraft named after me as well. I don't know. How do you think innovations such as artificial intelligence, unmanned aircraft, and alternative fuels will impact the future of aviation?
Innovation definitely has a big impact on aviation, and I can already say I'm being very positive for the future, very hopeful for the future. We've already introduced renewable energies and alternative fuels. We have a noise reduction technology, so that has a positive impact on the environment. Also, my job as a pilot is really to increase safety, and that's really what it's all about in the helicopter industry. We try to increase safety continuously. So that's something that's part of our responsibility. In order to lead ahead with innovation, we need to push in that direction, improving safety. And so I'm really happy with the way it is going currently, and I hope that it's going to keep developing in that way with positive impact on the environment, reducing human factors and human errors with the use of the good integration of alternate technologies and, for example, artificial intelligence.
We could seriously spend a full episode just talking about all of the emerging technologies in aviation. It is truly an incredible time to be a part of this industry. As a test pilot school student myself, I couldn't agree more about our responsibility to continuously improve aviation safety. I know that any company I've ever worked for, safety is their utmost priority. In aviation, it is critical that we are always operating in a safe and effective manner. And I know we talk often in test pilot school about the importance of integrity and discipline when performing tests, because we need to make sure that we are being safe at all times. Esther, did you encounter any roadblocks or obstacles on your career path? How did you overcome these, and how did they influence who you are today?
I believe any career professional would agree with me that we all encountered some kind of roadblock, some kind of obstacle, but you can learn something through it, for sure. I can see, especially now with time, that those obstacles really helped me to be persistent. I learned discipline. It also tested my motivation to continue in my career. And for example, moving a lot to be a pilot, I moved different countries, but that's also something that helped me adapt more easily, and that's a skill that I can use in my current career. So there's a lot of things that I can learn through that, and there's always going to be some kind of obstacle, and problem solving is going to have to be something I'm going to have to keep working at.
Obstacles can be really challenging to deal with in the moment, but they really are learning and growth opportunities. I know for me, I often get asked what are the biggest challenges I've faced as an engineer so far, and I often talk about having to learn how to speak confidently and competently about technical matters. For me, I really had to work on learning how to speak up in a room full of people and trusting that I had the competence to deal with difficult problems. So that was one for me. Esther, for what you've shared with us today, you've had some really exciting experiences as a pilot. What has been your favorite or most memorable flight?
One of my most memorable flights have been flying in the Grand Canyon with people from all over the world. For most of them, it was the first time seeing that wonder of the world, being in the Grand Canyon, but also first time being on a helicopter. And being part of that excitement, that has been a great experience for me.
Many people, like me, simply dream of seeing the Grand Canyon, but flying through it must have been one of the most incredible experiences. That is so cool. I know for me, one of the most incredible flight experiences I had was a mission we got to go on to Australia in the middle of the pandemic. We flew over and we imaged the re-entry of a capsule carrying part of an asteroid. As it re-entered Earth's atmosphere, we got to fly alongside it. Not too close, but we got to fly alongside it and image the high-speed re-entry of that capsule. And it was pretty incredible to be part of such a huge and important mission. It spanned across countries and was pretty cool. For our last question, can you give the students one takeaway thought to leave with?
My takeaway thought for you is to really identify those people that are going to steer you in the right direction, they're going to push you to be better. Invest in those relationships. Also, all the success that hopefully you're going to get in your career is really meaningful if you can share with people that love you, that support you, that led you in that direction, and celebrate with you. And that will be the last thing that I would like to share with you today.
Role models and mentors are so important. That's what this XSTEM All Access program is all about. I know for me, I grew up dreaming of going to space. I talked about how my dad was a big influence for me, but also Sally Ride, who was the first American woman to go to space. She inspired me at such a young age to chase my wildest dreams. And all of the astronauts I had a chance to talk or work with at NASA definitely inspired me to keep going when things were difficult. But they also reminded me that you can be a totally normal person to do amazing things. You don't have to be this superhero wearing a cape. Everyday people like you and me are capable of doing some really incredible things. Thank you, Esther. I love chatting with you and hearing about your work. It's always so fun to hear from a fellow woman in aviation. Thank you for sharing about your exciting career as an Airbus helicopter pilot.
Thank you, Kate, and thank you everybody for joining us today.
Everyone, make sure you check out Airbus on social media and online to keep up with their innovative aerospace technologies that impact all of our lives. But don't go away just yet. Let's take a moment to hear from more of our partners at the U.S. Air Force and the U.S. Space Force. Make sure you check out the Air Force and Space Force online and follow them on social media to keep up with all of the amazing things they are doing. Thank you again to the United States Air Force, the United States Space Force, and the Discovery Channel for making this XSTEM All Access series possible. Stay tuned for more episodes this fall, including a special guest speaker from the Discovery Channel. And of course, thank you for tuning in today. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube description below and follow us on social media to get XSTEM updates about new episodes. You will not want to miss any of them. Plus, you'll get access to fun weekly content for students and teachers, such as STEM trivia for students, classroom tips for teachers, and so much more. Scan this code to access resources from today's programming, including NGSS-aligned lesson plans and worksheets, along with other free STEM resources from today's speakers, our partners, and more. With your parents' permission, tell us how you were inspired today, tagging us at USA Science Fest, #XSTEM, and me at The Plain Kate. And keep up with me and my aviation adventures through my website and social media right here. As a former NASA engineer, test pilot school student, and Boston Marathon runner, I know a thing or two about chasing your wildest dreams and making them come true. Take it from me, with a little passion and a lot of hard work, the sky is never the limit. I hope you've enjoyed today's program. This episode, along with the entire series, is available on demand at no cost. Check them out at usasciencefestival.org. But don't sign off just yet. You'll want to stick around through the end of this video for a fun trivia game that you can do in the classroom or at home. Have fun!